Hey guys, so this is a video I've been wanting to make for a long time, and I know I'm probably going to get a ton of hate for this, but I wanted to do a video about this because I have always felt like I'm the only one who has this opinion. So here we go. So what opinion is that? Get the hate mail ready. Here we go. I have never liked the original Tomb Raider series, and I've much rather preferred the reboot trilogy. Now, you're probably wondering where the hell this even came from. Well, um, I well, the after a while we finally got an announcement for a new Tomb Raider game. And this one looks more like it's going in the direction of the OG series. Laura has her more iconic old school outfit on. She's doing more, I guess you could say, flexible parkour athletic stuff. And she has her iconic two dual pistols again. And I'm hearing a lot of Tomb Raider fans say, thank God, we're back to the OG series. Nobody liked the reboot trilogy, and I'm sorry, as a fan of the reboot trilogy, I'm kind of pissed at that. And at this point, I've realized, you know what? Fuck it. Not only am I going to defend this game and its trilogy, but I am going to explain why I prefer the reboot trilogy over the original games. Now, let me say this right out the gate. There's a difference between not liking something and not respecting it. This is not out of disrespect towards the original Tomb Raider games. Not in the slightest. It's because of the original Tomb Raider games that one of my favorite PlayStation exclusive series, the Uncharted series, got off the ground. The Uncharted games took a shit ton of stuff from the Tomb Raider games. And I do respect what Tomb Raider has done for the world of 3D platforming. However, just because I respect something and what it's done for gaming history doesn't mean I have to like it. It's similar to the Godfather films. They're not bad movies, they're just really not my thing. So, you're probably wondering, why don't I like the original series? Well, I will freely state a lot of it comes down to personal preference. And believe me, I really have tried to get into the older games, because I really do like the reboot trilogy, a lot. It's because of the reboot trilogy that I really got into Lara Croft and everything. I did want to go back to the old games. I did want to enjoy them, but I'm sorry, I can't. I really can't, and I really have tried. I just can't get into them. And I'm going to explain why. Problem 1, I hate the fact that you never know where the fuck you're going. Yeah, you could call me like, I don't know, a fucking Gen Z or whatever goddamn buzzword they come up with nowadays. But I just don't like games where I have no idea where the fuck I'm supposed to go. I don't like going around in circles constantly not knowing where I'm supposed to go or what the fuck I'm supposed to do. I get for others they like that challenge, but that always annoys the shit out of me. The Angry Video Game Nerd has come up with a perfect description of this kind of game. Where the fuck do I go kind of game. That's what the Tomb Raider games are like. They're where the fuck I go kind of games. The original ones. And I fucking hate it. I cannot stand not knowing where the fuck I'm supposed to go, going around in goddamn circles, because everything looks the fucking same. Yeah, by comparison, the Tomb Raider reboot trilogy, they give you a map. They always give you a waypoint telling you where the fuck you're supposed to go. Like, I prefer knowing where I'm going rather than bumbling around the whole location like a jackass, just trying desperately to figure out what the fuck the game wants me to do. I also just never really that much into the gameplay of the original series. Although I'm not going to be like that, like judgmental towards it. I mean, it was one of the first like 3D platformers in this style. Um, so so again, I'm not really holding it against it. I'm just saying it does nothing for me. The combat always just doesn't feel fun. And I get the like combat's not meant to be like the main goal. It's supposed to be the exploration. Like it's supposed to be more about like exploring these tombs, solving puzzles and stuff. But like, and again, maybe it's just me because I'm not a big fan of solving puzzles. Even in stuff like Silent Hill or Resident Evil, I'm a noob when it comes to puzzles. I prefer combat over puzzle solving any day. That's just me. Um, but yeah, so if the combat is not really that engaging, then I'm not really going to care much for the exploration or platforming. Again, compare this to the Tomb Raider reboot series, where every combat situation in that trilogy is intense as hell and gets you pumped up. You always feel like you have to be on your toes because you're always surrounded and shit. It feels more intense and engaging. Now, if there is one thing that I can agree with some people when it comes to their criticisms towards the Tomb Raider reboot series, is that the story isn't all that great. I mean, the story of the Tomb Raider reboot games isn't god-awful or anything like that. It's competent. There's just nothing really that interesting to it. Especially in the sequels. Like, I will freely admit, I like Shadows of the Tomb Raider, but that game's story, especially as a supposed conclusion to a trilogy, could have been a lot better written, I feel. However, you could also make the same argument for the original trilogy. At least in my opinion. Again, because again, I tried to get into the older games. I actually have the remastered versions of the original trilogy on my PS5. I keep going back to it, thinking maybe, just maybe, I could get into it, but I can't. And a lot of it's because, and a lot of it's because of the reasons I already mentioned. But I think it's also because the story is just not that interesting. I mean, I guess the idea of the original trilogy is that it starts off small but grows grander, but if I already don't like the gameplay, then why would I push forward to keep going? Again, at least in the Tomb Raider reboot games, they always start off showing something crazy happening. Like the first game in the reboot trilogy starts off with Laura getting in a goddamn shipwreck and getting tied upside down. Like, that's, like, holy shit, that's just a much more engaging, opening to me. I prefer game openings that just get you right into the action. Rather than just slowly screwing around in a tomb trying to figure out what the game wants you to do. But yeah. The other reason why I never cared for the original games, and this is the reason I bet it's gonna piss so many people off, but I have never liked the original Lara Croft. Now, I'm not saying the original voice actress. Every voice actress who has voiced Lara Croft, in my opinion, has done an incredible job. With the material they were given. I'm saying that the original Lara Croft character, I never cared much for. The best way you can describe the original Lara Croft is that she's kind of a mix of Indiana Jones and James Bond. She has the love of adventure and archaeology that Indiana Jones is well known for. But she seems to have a more suave and kind of cool, charming demeanor similar to James Bond. And I think that's another reason why I can't get into the original Laura, because I don't like the OG James Bond films that much. And a lot of it is because I never found James Bond to be that interesting of a character. The only thing I can tell you about the original James Bond is that he's a badass spy and he's always cool. And that's kind of it. Yes, I know. Later films did go into James's past. Um, but but like I'm just saying, from the get-go, in the OG James Bond movies, there was never anything about James that made him an interesting character to me. Um, but yeah. It's actually why my personal favorite James Bond is the Daniel Craig version, because that one feels more like a character that goes through an arc and growth. Whereas I never really get that feeling when it comes to the original James Bond. You could also make the same argument for Indiana Jones. I mean, it never really seems like he goes through a massive growth as a character, but at least the Indiana Jones films made up for that by prioritizing the fact that Indiana Jones is human. Like Indy got seriously fucked up in some of the movies. Um, I think anybody who recalls the infamous boxer fight, in Raiders of the Lost Ark can attest to that. Like, at that point, James had just been, like, shot and gone through, like, this big car chase and everything, and you could see how goddamn exhausted he is. And then having to go up with a big fucking boxer dude, like, you could see the exhaustion he goes through in that film. Whereas with James Bond, you never really get that feeling at all. Like, he just feels like he never really gets majorly hurt at all, at least in the OG movies. I, I don't know, there's just nothing about the original James Bond that was that interesting. I think that's why I can't get into the original Lara Croft. She just comes off as this perfect, like, person who, like, just has no flaws. And I just don't find that interesting or compelling. Like, again, compare this to the reboot series, where that trilogy starts off with Laura being mostly inexperienced. I mean, yeah, she was taught how to use a bow thanks to Roth, but outside of that, she has never been in this crazy as shit situation before. But like, so you do see that she is scared and even terrified at times, but you also, but you see her grow in the trilogy, grown to a more confident person and into a complete badass. Um, like the reboot trilogy, basically takes the Lara Croft character, gets rid of the James Bond stuff, and mixes in a little bit more John Rambo, at least in the first Rambo movie. Um, I love the direction they took her in with the reboot series, making her more of a badass survivalist. And shit, I'm gonna say it. I think her bow and arrow is a cooler weapon than those two pistols. Like, I think that bow is fucking awesome, and I have no idea why people hate it so much. I don't know. Like, I just prefer main characters to feel more human, if that makes sense. I like that in the reboot series, Laura isn't perfect. She does have flaws. And yeah, I'm sure she has flaws in the original games. But like, that doesn't come off as apparent. I like how much the reboot trilogy humanizes her. I mean, I don't know. Like, I usually just, like, the reboot trilogy gets so much hate from OG fans, and you know what? fine, I get it, but I don't know. It's getting to this point where everyone is just glad that it's gone and just wants to like piss all over its grave, and I feel it's incredibly disrespectful to all the hardworking people that worked on those games. Like, especially after what Square Enix did to Crystal Dynamics, like after Shadow of the Tomb Raider, forcing them to make a shitty live service Avengers game and then selling them off to invest in NFTs. Like, I just feel like, I mean, like, I understand everyone is so excited, is happy that like the original, that this new Tomb Raider game is going back to basics, but like acting like this reboot trilogy didn't do anything good at all, I feel is incredibly disrespectful. And again, like, this isn't like an attack on anybody or anything like that. This is just me voicing my opinion. I know that there are a lot of Tomb Raider fans that prefer the original series. And hey, more power to you. I'll never understand why, but to each their own. Like, but I don't know. I just feel like I feel like this reboot trilogy has done a lot of good where nobody sees it, and that bothers me. But like, is it really just me? I don't know. Let me down in the comments below what you guys think, even though I'm pretty sure the comment section is not going to be the most pleasant, but hey, I might be surprised. This is just something that's always been on my mind for a while, and I never would have been able to get all my thoughts out in a short vid. So, yeah. I promise later on today, probably after I recently just got up. Probably after I don't know, take a shower or whatever, I'll probably, do my Krampus review and then my Black Christmas review, so look forward to that. But yeah, this is just something that has been bugging me for years. I've wanted to get my thoughts out about it. So yeah, if you like what you see here, like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you guys later.